Okay guys, welcome back. In this one we're going to be moving around different panel windows in order to create our own custom workspaces. I'll set it up how I like to edit, so let's get started. I like to keep the timeline at the bottom. This is pretty standard in most editing programs. I like to bring the project window up to the top left, so in order to do that we click and hold and drag it. Now before we let go, you'll notice that depending on where I place it, it'll be highlighting different areas. If I wanted to sit on the right, it would be here. If I wanted to place it below the top windows, then I would place it here. So for example, I want it on the top left and beside all the windows. So I'll place it right here. So let's try it again. Click and hold. So if I wanted it below all of these, we would leave it right here. And now it's placed the window below all of these. If I wanted it on the right side of all of those, I would place it here. Now it's aligned the project panel window to the right side of all of the other panels. Same thing, let's click and hold. Let's bring it to the right side. Now it's on the right side. Let's click and hold, and we'll set it up right there. In order to expand the panel to see a little more, if you go to just on the edge, you'll see it changes from an arrow into the left and right arrow. And if you click and hold, you can actually drag it and make it as large as you want. Let's leave it at around there. Okay, let's go to our tools section. When it highlights, we know that that is what we are working with. I like to place my tools at the top. Then we'll click here. We'll wait until we get the two arrows. Click and hold and drag. So now on the right side we have our tools and we have our audio below it. For our media browser, I tend to not use this as I prefer to import and locate footage in a different way, so we're going to close this panel. Our info tab we don't need to worry about. Okay, and now we have our effects tab, so we're going to click and hold this and we're going to bring it up and keep it right beside our project panel window. We will open it up just a little bit. Now I like to keep my program monitor to the right side of my effects panel, and I have my effect controls on the far right side. So let's click and hold, and we will place it on the left side of the effect controls panel, which brings all of these tabs to the right side. The reason why I like the program window in the center is because this is our main playback, and instead of turning my head or eyes always trying to view the playback, if it was on the left I'd be turning to the left to try to view the playback always. This way it's right in front of me and it's easy to see. We can go over to metadata. We can close that as well. We do not need that. We have our source, which I actually like to place in the program window, and to do that, instead of here, you'd go right to the top where it forms a line as if it was a part of the tabs. And then you can see now it has a tab. So let's bring our program to the front of it. So that's our first tab, and then we have source as the second. We have our effect controls beside it, and then we have audio clip mixer beside that. Let's go down to the bottom left again. We can close markers, we don't need that. And we can close the history, as I do not like to work with the history as well. So now we have our timeline panel that stretches the whole length. We can click and drag this so it fits a little more nice. Now this is generally the setup I like to edit with. You can change it to whatever you'd like, but for our purposes this is what we will be working with for the rest of the video course. Let's go to Window, Workspaces, and we will save changes to this workspace. That is listed as the editing tab. Okay, to open up different windows, if for example you do need the metadata tab or the media browser tab, then you can go into Window and you can find whichever one you want to open up. The info, history, and so on.